Konnichiwa my friends, welcome back to the new review of the fresh NARAKA BLADEPOINT. I always bring a knife to a gunfight or a spear or my fist. Basically, if there is no way to mess around with melee in a game, I will, because I just find it more satisfying than shooting most of the time. Maybe that's why NARAKA BLADEPOINT is so much appealing to me, the most of battle royals, or maybe I'm just very into all the things Asian, probably both. Anyway, NARAKA BLADEPOINT is a battle royale game that laughs in the face of ranged combat. In favor of fights, they are far more close and personal. You start every match by choosing your hero and your spawn point, and from there go about and do all the normal battle royale stuff like picking up the loot and making sure you are not going to get swallowed by the shadow. The shadow is in the ring here, and it's represented by a rather demonic puzzle haze that looks a bit like a snake. It's really cool bit of visual design that ties in nicely to the rest of the Chinese mythology used on the basis as for many of characters and the world itself. It's also a fair bit more terrifying than just a ring, because you kind of feel like it might gobble you up at any moment. Thankfully, the movement options you have in NARAKA BLADEPOINT are fairly varied. Along with it being able to run, jump and slide, you can also double jump, climb up the walls and even use a fancy grappling hook to get about. This all you to jump in out of combat at a moment notice, which is the perfect whatever you prefer close combat or you attempt to buck the trend and take people out of with ranged weapon. Assholes. The melee system is fairly deep. You got both horizontal attacks and vertical attacks, both of which you can be charged for a different effect based on weapon you're using. You've got the ability to cancel your attacks to mess with your opponents and throw off their timing, and you can parry people which knocks their weapon out of their hands, leaving them open to absolute beating. The ranged weapons are simpler, but each offers a different experience. Both can be charged to allow for extra damage. Muskets and great at range, but not much use up close. Pistols are basically chargeable shotguns. You can even find legendary weapons, and they are basically flamethrowers or rapid fire missile launchers. All of this can be charged too. NARAKA BLADEPOINT has pickups called Soul Jades. These gives passive buffs like increasing your health or melee resistance, but you can also give weapon specific buffs like an extra attack or your light combo or new over-the-top special moves. It means you often find yourself scrabbling around the ideal setup and means looting of essential from start to the finish. Of course, the hero you choose also has abilities. Each of has special abilities and ultimate abilities, but as you level up you also get the chance to customize other passive buffs for them and even change up the abilities themselves too. You can also change their hairstyles, outfits and even facial features in some cases. Basically, you can find a way to play as a character that feels unique, and that's awesome. The game kicks off with a tutorial on the controls, followed by a tutorial on the basics, which is then followed by multiple matches against bots. It's not really made clear that you're facing off bots, but you'll know what's the case because you'll probably win your first handful of matches. I actually quite like the approach outside of not telling you playing against bots, because the movement system and the specific of melee combat do take a while to get used to, so slightly longer onboarding is necessary. One of the coolest things about NARAKA BLADEPOINT is that you can actually host your own custom matches. It's clearly a future aimed at streamers and content creators, but it doesn't mean that you and the gaggle of the friends can't be together and enjoy the beautiful map in between sporadic bursts and hacking and slashing each other. All of this is so far good stuff, and I really like NARAKA BLADEPOINT from a gameplay standpoint along with the character customization. However, you have to buy NARAKA BLADEPOINT, but it still has a free-to-play monetization model along with a battle pass, which is fine. You also have cosmetics to buy and loot boxes. There is a lot of things you could spend money on. On the other hand, it's all cosmetics, so you don't like to need to get involved with, but on the other hand, microtransaction in paid games, despite being in case a few other titles at launch such as Overwatch, still feel kind of grody. It makes sense because the game is clearly aiming to be around for a long time, but it also defining going to raise some eyebrows forum comments about the evils of capitalism. I've also had a few lag spikes in the key moment in battles. I'm hoping it's just teething issues, and I am assuming that the case, but it's the worth keeping an eye if you're yet to get involved with the game. There are also some server issues when it comes to the placement, with no Ocean series nor any South America, despite both being available in during the beta. Again, I'm hoping these things will be addressed, but it stands it's important to keep in mind. At its core, NARAKA BLADEPOINT is fascinating take on the battle royale genre, and no one that feels as tough is specially aimed at me and all of the other whips out of there who are best with the melee weapons. The movement is incredible, and the customization system are a huge amount of fun to play. I'm hoping it keep be supported for a long time because I want to see some of the technical issues ironed out, and I'd love to see new heroes in mix too. This is the game very much of worth checking out if you love the idea of battle royale games, but you're a terrible shot. The summary: NARAKA BLADEPOINT is an interesting spin on the cinematic battle royale formula. The combat and movement system help to keep everything feels absolutely fluid. The upgrades and hero customization help you find a playstyle that fits for you, and it's fun. But the technical issues need ironing out before the wholehearted must play. So about the pros: the ability to host the custom matches, that's the pros. The deep check the customization, that's two. And the strong combat system, that's the pros. About the cons: terrible microtransaction that pissing off, although they are cosmetics for sure. The occasional slaughter, and the hitboxes can feel a bit janky, so that's all about the cons. Thank you for watching. Don't be greedy for the subscription button, and see you soon, boys and girls.